Here's more wrestling news for February 4th, 2026. Your headlines for this afternoon include AVA slammed by wrestling veteran after exit, obviously a Nepo hire. Royal Rumble stats revealed, most eliminations, Iron Man and Woman, historic result. That was pretty scary. Nia Jax shares WWE moment that outraged Triple H. New WWE NXT champion crowned in stacked ladder match main event. Released WWE superstar makes return on NXT in brand new role. Tony D'Angelo lays out goals after shock WWE NXT return. WWE Men's Speed Tournament sees new signing move ahead. Major betrayal in popular faction as member defects to another group, and more. We're kicking off with Ava, whose time with WWE came to an abrupt end when she shared on social media that she had chosen not to renew her contract. Though she had a brief in-ring run, the majority of Ava's WWE tenure was as general manager of NXT, but not everyone is sad to see the back of the daughter of The Rock. On his Jim Cornette Experience podcast, Jim Cornette made his views on Ava known as only he can, making clear that he feels she never should have been in WWE in the first place. It's probably best because I'm sure that many people were nice to her, to her face, and didn't want to be rude or whatever, either because they liked her personally or they didn't want to make her father mad. But no, she had no business on a fucking wrestling show doing any goddamn thing. She didn't need to be on television. Since she'd been on the air, people decided to quit breathing it. When she walks into a bank, they turn off the cameras. These are harsh words to be sure, but on his podcast, Cornette argued that fans would have also been harsh to Ava and never given her a chance due to her family ties. He added, "Can I stress more how she doesn't need to be on television? And the fans were never going to give her a break because she was obviously a Nepo hire. Again, they were trying to be nice in every way to The Rock, but that's not fair to the girl. That's not fair. When sometimes these people get put in these positions, they can't win. They're not going to be any good." Whether fans would have given her a break, we'll never know for certain now, and Ava has made clear her WWE run is over and is even selling the outfits she wore in NXT. With both her parents major parts of $7 Productions, Ava may not be out of work for long, but whatever's next for her, it won't be related to WWE. Last weekend, the road to WrestleMania 42 officially began with the Royal Rumble in Riyadh, with Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan winning the two titular matches. For Roman, this is his second time winning a Rumble match, with his first being in 2015, but a second win wasn't the only notable stat for the OTC. With his victory and 5 eliminations, Reigns has now moved into second place for the most Rumble eliminations of all time, with 41 men thrown over the top rope. Only Kane has more eliminations with 46, and with the Big Red Machine's days in the ring over, it's entirely possible that Reigns could break his record in the years to come. Reigns threw out The Miz, Jacob Fatu, Jey Uso, Logan Paul, and Gunther in Riyadh, and tied with Oba Femi for the most eliminations in this year's Men's Rumble match. The Ruler was the #1 entrant and threw out Braun Breaker, Rusev, Solo Sikoa, Matt Cardona, and Rey Mysterio. Not a bad start for Femi's first Royal Rumble match. Though it was Femi and Reigns who dominated, it was the much leaner Javon Evans who was the Iron Man, lasting 40 minutes and 58 seconds before being eliminated. The young OG was tossed out by Randy Orton, and while Evans didn't score any eliminations, his impressive duration bodes well for the popular star in future Rumble matches. On the women's side of things, Charlotte Flair was the Iron Woman as the #1 entrant lasted 59 minutes and 9 seconds before being eliminated by Lash legend. Flair scored 2 eliminations, namely Nia Jax and accidentally her own teammate Alexa Bliss, and we'll have to see what Bliss has to say about this on this Friday's SmackDown. As we said, Flair was eliminated by Lash legend, who scored 5 eliminations, the most in this year's Women's Royal Rumble match, in a star-making performance. In addition to Flair, Lash threw out the WWE Hall of Famers the Bella Twins, former world champion Io Sky, and the juggernaut Jordynne Grace before being thrown out. Despite Lash's impressive performance, it was Liv Morgan who was the last woman standing after entering the 30-woman match at the number 14 position. Liv is now the first woman to win from number 14, and only the second superstar in history after Shinsuke Nakamura's victory at 14th in the 2018 Men's Rumble match. But what did you think of the Rumble matches? Were Liv Morgan and Roman Reigns the right winners, or should it have been some other superstars? Sound off in the comments. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Now on the September 26, 2025 episode of SmackDown, Jade Cargill was busted open during a triple threat match in a gruesome moment that hadn't been planned. The match saw Tiffany Stratton retain the WWE Women's title against Cargill and Nia Jax, but the real story of the match was the bloody state of Cargill. This week, Nia Jax sat down with Chris Van Vliet and spoke about the spot in question, admitting that she didn't know it had happened in the moment. She said, "That was weird because I know I'm strong, but to me, I didn't realize it happened. I didn't realize she hit her head so hard on the steps. So when I saw it, because I didn't see the full extent of it until later, I was shocked she was split open that badly. It was definitely a different moment for sure, but yeah, that was pretty scary." Jax isn't the only one to talk about this spot, as last month Jade Cargill shared that Triple H was furious backstage when he saw her bloodied face on live TV. Cargill shared that the game was yelling, "Get the camera off her," and pointed out to the production team that sponsors wouldn't be happy with seeing a bloodied woman on the show. Despite this, Cargill chalked it up as a bad scene from the match, and this injury just goes to show how wrestlers are forced to fight through the pain no matter what. Over to NXT now, as the show was headlined by a 7-man ladder match for the vacant NXT title, and with such a golden opportunity, this match was a whirlwind from the start. Keanu Carver, Ricky Saints, Joe Hendry, Dion Lennox, Shiloh Hill, Sean Legacy, and Jackson Drake gave their all from the moment the bell rang, but it was Hendry who ultimately stood tall. Hendry and Saints were the two favorites going in, but for the other 5 entrants, they were given the chance to showcase their skills and show why they could be future champions. Carver has a fun rampage spot towards the end of the match, and his ripping a ladder in half at the hinge was a cool moment that fans have rarely, if ever, seen before. The final moment saw Hendry and Saints fight on top of the ladder before Saints was pushed off, giving Hendry his biggest victory in a WWE ring to date. This was a brilliant introduction to the new generation of WWE NXT now that notable names, including Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans, have been moved to the main roster. Are you pleased with Hendry winning the title, or should it have been Saints or somebody else in the match? Share your thoughts and feedback in the comments. The TNA Knockouts tag team titles were on the line as Em and Heather by Elegance defended against ZaRuca, who were having some issues backstage. These issues were evident as Zarya shoved ZaRuca during the duo's entrance and refused a fist bump, and things would go from bad to worse for ZaRuca fans once the bell rang. During the match, Ruca tagged herself in less than a minute in, clearly frustrating her tag team partner and showing their growing issues. Later on, when Zarya was the legal woman again, she refused multiple times to tag Ruca in, and this match made a breakup seem inevitable between the two. Despite these issues, a title change seemed imminent when the pair hit tandem spears to the champs, but Ruca would accidentally hit Zarya with the Soul Snatcher before the Elegance brand retained. Ahead of this match, Daria Ray was shown in the crowd to oversee the title match, a notable return to WWE for the TNA authority figure who spent years as Sonya Deville. We'll have to see if Ray makes more appearances on WWE TV in her current TNA role, as her release from the company last year clearly didn't stop this week's appearance. NXT Women's Champ Jacy Jayne was annoyed that she was eliminated from the Women's Royal Rumble match by Ruca, and it seemed that Jayne vs. Ruca was going to be announced. Instead, Zarya interrupted and said it's time for her, not Soul, to have an opportunity, which was an odd line given that she just fought for the Knockouts title just a few weeks ago. Kendall Gray, Ren Sinclair, and ultimately Ruca all came out, and Robert Stone made a tag match for next week where the person who gets the win will earn a title shot. This stipulation practically guarantees further issues with ZaRuca next week, as the popular duo may not even be a thing by the end of next week's important tag match. Tony D'Angelo had a dramatic new entrance and discussed his return to NXT, saying he had to go away to remember who he really was, and shared that he has 2 major plans. The first he shared is that he's coming for Dark State, but said his second plan would be made clear after he's finished with Dark State. One would have to assume that his second goal is the NXT Championship, and this was an impressive promo, helped by the fact that there were no interruptions. A new WWE Men's Speed Championship tournament kicked off on NXT as Elio LeFleur took on Charlie Dempsey, and the masked newcomer got the win with seconds to spare. Josh Briggs will battle Eli Knight next, with the winner of that match facing LeFleur to earn a shot at the WWE Men's Speed Championship held by Jasper Troy. In our opening match, Izzi Dame put the women's North American title on the line against Thea Hale and Lola Vice, and Dame used her size advantage to dominate early on. Vice and Hale teamed to take her down, and all three women worked hard, clearly eager to avoid being overshadowed by the ladder match main event. There was an awkward botch when Dame went for her pump kick too early and struggled to reach Vice with her foot. Eagle-eyed fans may have noticed how Dame's attire was a shot at former ally Tatum Paxley, who wore a similar attire when she won the NXT Women's title in late 2025. Paxley didn't appear in the match, but Kalani Jordan did by attacking Vice and crushing her hand with a ladder, vowing that she'll never be knocked out by Vice again. Vice's backhand is her most dangerous move, and while she already has a win over Jordan thanks to it, we'll have to see how she adapts to what transpired this week. As for the title match, Dame retained after a powerbomb on Hale to get the win and cement herself as still the NXT Women's North American Champion. Blake Monroe ambushed Jaida Parker at the merch truck before the show in a cool moment that came across as unscripted as the issues between two of NXT's top women continue to boil. And finally, Lexis King and Stax defeated Chase U in a short but predictable match, and before the match, Stax and King once again tried to recruit Urijah Connors. Connors, the son of Fit Finlay, would fit in with the faction of second-generation stars, and after the match, Connors ditched Chase U and left with the heels and Ariana Grace. And that was WWE NXT. What did you think of the show? Let us know below, and thanks for watching. For all of our subscribers, don't miss the 9 a.m. Eastern video we dropped earlier today. Smash that bell icon and select all notifications so you're always in the loop.